We're starting in 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, thank you for listening to, and why do I always say that, dude? Why do I feel like listening to is not the right thing to say? Hey everybody, thank you for, it is listening to, isn't it? Thank you for listening to and or watching Teddybears and Tentacles podcast. My name is Quinn, and we are on episode 44 today.
No, we're not. You basically just did the equivalent of when you're taking a test and you write the answer and it's the right answer, but you go, oh no, wait, hold on.
Question.
And you erase it and you put the wrong answer because you second guessed yourself.
But in memory of Crystalia, not changing it. You know?
Is your frame rate messed up?
And that's what I was wondering earlier. Maybe we should fix it.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Do another karate.
And if you're watching this right now, this is how you accurately karate. Yeah, that's better. But can we do a brighter somehow?
Do that? More? Do you want it to be brighter or no?
No, that's good. Yeah, I mean I do, but this is fine for this time.
Make it brighter.
Yeah, that's good. That's gooder. Okay.
I don't want to cut any of that out, though.
Yeah, we're not. Teddybears and Tentacles episode number 44. I have with me today
Still not the right one.
The other host of the podcast.
The other guy.
Yeah, Skinny Rick.
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
What's up, dude?
I feel like I'm a lot louder today than usual.
Yeah, you might be, but that's fine today.
Maybe it's just my headphones.
I don't know.
Oh, no, I can't hear anything.
Check. Yeah, I mean, you're good.
All right, cool.
All right, well, now that everybody's witnessed what usually happens before we edit out anything.
Yeah,
man, so a bunch of stuff going on today. We will continue with the format we've been doing and talk about ourselves later on, but we have a little bit of Ghislaine Maxwell news-ish that's been happening, but what I wanted to talk about specifically today are these tech CEO hearings with Congress that are happening as we speak. And so we've been listening to these hearings for a while at this point. I guess it's been going on for about 45 or about 3 hours at this point. I've listened to probably 45 minutes of it, mainly because I had to produce.
I can see it from here.
Yeah, I had to produce another podcast, but the people on the stand today are our good friend Mark Zuckerberg, and we'll have pictures as I name these names.
I want the surfing one as his photo.
Yeah. So that's what you want? Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
All right, Mark Zuckerberg, and then we'll do another one where he looks like, here we go. Here's Mark Zuckerberg looking like an alien, and that's what we'll have that one right there too.
Yeah.
So it's Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook fame. You have Tim Cook of Apple, which that guy has probably got the least heat on him through this whole thing. You have Jeff Bezos, or Bezos, depending on which side of the Mason-Dixon line you live on. But you got Jeff Bezos of Amazon, and then can you get the Google guy? I always forget this guy's name, man.
The Google guy? The CEO of Google?
No, he's one of the tabs. He's on a tab by himself.
Oh, he's on a tab by himself.
Yeah, it's probably the one after that, probably. Yeah.
This guy?
Yeah, Sundar Pichai, or something like that. He is the CEO of Alphabet, and its subsidiary, believe it or not, Google.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, and so these guys have been...
I mean, because if you think about it, Google is just...
Letters,
which is
alphabet,
part of the alphabet.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I got you. It's been interesting from what I have heard, and so for those of you who don't exactly understand what's happening, on our screen right now, there's a Twitter thing with a lady named Kayla Epstein. Change it. But what's happening basically is Congress hearings for a couple different reasons with these big tech CEOs. So if you pull up that first thing, we'll just read a little bit so that everybody can kind of know.
Laptop is so nice.
What's happening. Yeah, I like it a lot.
So the title is
Yeah, go ahead and scroll down to
Exactly what you just said.
Yeah, scroll down to where I can.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, go to the next
Here's
tab
the thing,
real quick
dude.
for me.
Here's the thing. Don't ask me to support journalism when that's not what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay, so here's the New York Times. We're going to read a little bit. This is just what you need to know about what's happening with this stuff. So Democrats dig in with accusations of anti-competitive behavior. What it's talking about specifically here is through, with Facebook, you have Facebook's buying out of Instagram and adding features into their platform that are basically ideas that other tech companies have, such as the filters from Snapchat, all that stuff. And then with Jeff Bezos basically undercutting smaller websites that sell different products, trying to basically just force you to use Amazon, not only for the price, but for the convenience and all of that. And of course, Jeff Bezos earlier is sitting there saying that he believes fully that there are other sites in the game. There are other ones that are just as good as Amazon.
One.
Yeah.
Give me one.
Yeah. So another one, Republicans immediately raise bias concerns about platforms. And this is something that we've seen for a while now. I was talking with a friend this morning, some of the stuff that's happening within, our community, at least. I would imagine in every community is this division between people who are left and right, sometimes even center left and center right, and basically the battle for whose ideals and ethics and morals within the coronavirus pandemic time period, who's right and who's wrong. And so, I had a conversation with somebody this morning who was just in a conversation with somebody on Facebook in comments, nothing crazy, but one person was spamming this video that's been going around with this group of doctors that are basically saying hydroxychloroquine is a legitimate treatment. It's where a lot of people think that it's the toxicity of the drug, which it is a toxic drug, is enough reason to have this video pulled from the internet. And it is being pulled from the internet because of, it is suggesting this drug as a legitimate treatment for the virus. Now, what I have to say about that in itself, I will say that it seems still like nobody knows what's going on. This is the same argument that we had whenever Trump brought it up months ago, hydroxychloroquine. Hydroxychloroquine is not an over-the-counter drug, okay? Which means you cannot go to Walmart and buy a box of hydroxychloroquine through self-checkout. You have to go to your doctor. Your doctor has to prescribe it to you. Yeah. And that's based on the opinion of your doctor. That's not based on what you want. You can't go in there and demand any drug and then write it to you. They're going to give you the treatment that they think is best. So the process to get a drug like that is, I don't think the argument that the video should be pulled down is a valid one. Nonetheless, the reason that I'm saying that is one person was spamming this video, basically commenting every time that they spammed it, saying, try and get this one, try and pull this one down, try and, I just explained to this person, the problem is that these platforms are censoring people, and they're censoring people specifically on the right. I'm not saying that no one on the left has dealt with a censorship issue, but it's almost primarily people that are right-wing, either pundits or commentators, different stuff like that. And so, of course, you have a million left-wing news outlets and one right-wing. So of course, people feel like they're targeted. Not to mention the fact that these tech CEOs almost all take a progressive stance politically, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do.
Well, it just doesn't promote diversity of thought inside of our head companies. Mm-hmm. And so it's unbalanced, really.
Yeah, it makes for an unbalanced narrative.
Whether you agree with left or right, whatever way you lean, like,
yeah,
you don't. It doesn't matter which way. The truth is that it's an unbalanced, I guess, marketplace in a sense, because all the people who are running all these companies, are all in the same vein of political stances. So it's a misrepresentation of
the people,
the people,
really, the populace,
and their customers, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah. So Republicans are bringing that up through this thing. Lawmakers say documents show Facebook trying to neutralize a competitive threat. So this is what we're talking about with them doing Snapchat filters, with them working on their camera software and capabilities.
Which is crazy that we even allow that type of stuff to happen with how crazy our intellectual property laws are. The fact that like our copyright laws are the way they are just because of Disney. Yeah. Like those things get updated every few years because Disney fights for it. Yeah. And so how are we just going to allow Facebook to basically, whether you think that they were aggressive in the negotiations or not, they've basically bullied every other company into selling out or going under. Because the way that they do it is, hey, we've got a team more capable than yours, and we're going to copy your idea. So you should just go ahead and sell your stuff to us now.
It's theft of intellectual property is what it is.
Yeah, it's messed up, which I believe in a competitive marketplace, I believe that you should have to work hard to, there's competition. Everyone should get a shot. But I don't think that you should be able to bully someone into selling out their property.
Absolutely.
Because, then that idea of making a monopoly where you are the only seller is not. Well, I guess some people would argue that capitalism is awful because it leads to that. It leads to people making monopolies. But really, that's not true, because with capitalism, if it's the idea of a competitive free market, at the point that there's only one person,
it's no longer capitalism.
It's no longer capitalism. That's why there needs to be laws to help limit what you're allowed to do. I think that you should be allowed to build a massive company and become rich. I don't have anything against that. But at the point that you're putting other people out of business on purpose, that's messed up.
And I would even venture to say that this is history repeating itself. Since you've been alive, you've seen this happen within stores locally. Walmart using the price match thing, Kmart going under, in the process.
Exactly.
We've seen stuff like this happen, with businesses. Netflix killed Blockbuster. That was a technological type thing, but Netflix and Redbox, killed it just based on convenience. Blockbuster used to be everywhere.
Oh yeah, I remember. Corner. Everyone's like, oh, you wouldn't remember Blockbuster. Like, I was young, but I went there. Like, we did that,
dude.
If you
were alive during Blockbuster is one of the best experiences that you can have as a kid.
I still followed the last Blockbuster on
it's in
Twitter.
Alaska, isn't it?
I don't know where it's at.
I think it's in Alaska.
It's unaffiliated with corporate.
Yeah,
it's its own entity.
Yeah. That's dope, dude. And for whatever reason, all the Blockbusters sold their buildings to beauty supply places.
For some reason.
Did you ever notice that? That's crazy. Yeah.
They all sold out to beauty supply places.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be looking at that, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Is there like a family that secretly owns all these beauty supply places? Not under the same name, but under the same family?
I don't know. We'll have to do it. We might do
That'd be crazy. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Because it's like, who's the family that owns all the gas stations? Was it Chevrons or something?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah.
Which is not like, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just they own all the things.
Yeah. Yep. So the other stuff, real quick, that they're bringing up in here is questions on Google focus on its search engine and relationship with Pentagon. This is just priority of search results, basically. And so you see a lot of people within the truth community moving to other search engines like DuckDuckGo because they provide an unfiltered, they provide unfiltered results. So Bezos gets his first experience in the hot seat, not doing so great at it. He is arguing with Congress at this point, which
listening to them, there has been no progress in the amount of time I listened. There's been no progress made. It is Congress like, why are you doing this? And then I'm like, well, define that. Like, really? I don't. Yeah. There's lots of, I don't agree with that. Yeah. It's like, it's not. I don't care if you agree with it. Like, you did this, so tell me why you did it.
Yeah. It's actually pretty interesting if you look, if you pay attention to the Zoom call that they're doing, they show the tiles at different points. They actually show the tiles of the users, and there's like Google Counsel is one of the users. Basically like these tech CEOs, legal teams are
sitting
in the thing. And Jeff Bezos, even there's one lady that asked him a question. He's like, you know what, as a matter of fact, I'd like to contact your office about the reason you're asking this question. She's just like, okay. So the CEOs dressed to project humility. Are fashion critics right? I will say that Jeff Bezos looks like he is sitting in a fake room. It looks like he's sitting in front of a green screen. Mark Zuckerberg always looks like someone who lost their memory in a car wreck and like just got out of the hospital and is trying to figure out like what a fork is used for.
Here's the thing. He looks like he didn't grow up on this earth.
No.
Is what he looks like. He looks like maybe he got put in a spaceship and launched over here one day. Which I feel really bad because if people just decided to be like, Skinny Rick's over here looking like maybe a lizard person, it would probably get pretty annoying pretty quick having to be, going around. But also try not to look like a freaking, alien sometimes.
Yeah. If you're going around surfing on a thing looking like a freaking mime, I don't know what to tell you.
I get it, dude. I burn easy, but dude, just get burned.
Yeah, dude.
Get a little sunburn for the day. Don't don't end up becoming a meme.
Yeah. So there's also on this article a tally of their catchphrases and how many times they've said it, which I find pretty interesting. Go to the tab before that real quick. No, just go to the one before it real quick, and So this is just a little deeper dig into kind of what is happening. Each of the tech executives sought to tell their own versions of the rag to riches story, stressing the importance to U.S. consumers and the American economy as a whole. All four of the tech companies emphasize they face healthy competition in advertising, search, shopping, and social networking. We compete hard, we compete fairly, we compete to the best, Zuckerberg said. Keep scrolling down. I would say that Apple's biggest crime is still making crappy stuff. So I think that's probably why you don't see them on there anymore. Let's go back to that other one, and we'll look at the catchphrases and stuff like that real quick. So keep going down. Just scroll down slowly in case there's something that we want.
Oh, scroll?
Yeah. Scroll down slowly.
Oh, it's in here. I see.
Yeah. So there's breakdowns on all this stuff. Let's go ahead and stop at this one. This is one of the ones that I feel like is the most crucial, especially from the host, coming from the host of this podcast, or me being the host of this podcast. What we're dealing with this specific one is the First Amendment, freedom of speech. And so the one point that I want to just break down here is Republicans raising concerns about platforms. So top Republicans on the committee immediately raised concerns that the tech giants are systematically suppressing conservative views, an unproven claim that has grown popular on the right and moved the hearing away from the central antitrust questions of the hearings. Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio, the top Republican on the Judiciary Committee, spent his opening statements listening to anecdotes where Republican officials have been subject to enforcement actions by the platform's rules. He did not mention that conservative publications and figures routinely rank among the top performing pages on Facebook and other platforms. I'll just cut to the chase. Big tech's out to get conservatives, said Mr. Jordan. He later accused the company of trying to impact elections and censoring conservatives, which both of those things, again, are stuff that we already know. We did a whole episode on Cambridge Analytica and how big tech influenced the elections last go round.
Here's the thing, dude. You don't even have to do a deep dive into this. Go look at any, go look at any right-leaning like news outlet. Dude, it's so much harder to find that stuff than it is to find any, left media. And that's just the truth. Like I followed, shout out to Crowder, I guess, but not really at the same. Not like a shout out. Not like we support.
Yeah,
him,
we're mentioning Crowder,
but like shout out to him because that's who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I followed him for a few years. He makes funny sketches. He he covers current stuff, and I would say he probably in his comedy has a very right leaning like humor, he makes fun of the left a lot. But when he's covering stuff, like it's more center, I feel like, when he's just covering like current topics, Yeah. But either way, his stuff is like gets pulled all the time and like doesn't like he'll have more views in the shorter amount of time. Like he should be trending by YouTube's trending standards, and he never does.
I will say,
like, how does that make sense?
I will say that his operation seems less organized than some. I have a hard time finding any of his live shows to go back and watch. Does that make sense?
Well, that's because he doesn't put them on YouTube.
Yeah. Well,
that's because he doesn't upload the full things to YouTube. You have to go to Mug Club for that.
Yeah, but that's probably part of the reason that he doesn't trend as hard as he could.
Well, that's part of the reason it is that way is because
they'll pull him down.
They pulled him down, and so he had to go and put it on his own. Yeah, on his website. Yeah. He had to move everything over to his own platform. Which, I mean, it's the same thing with what isn't InfoWars like not even allowed on YouTube now?
That is the next thing that I was going to say. My opinion on Alex Jones and InfoWars, and the reason that I said my opinion is that these tech CEOs are making a run. They tried to make a run really quick to make some of this stuff right. So 2 days in a row, full Alex Jones shows have been recommended to me on YouTube.
That never happens.
Yes. Now it is someone else uploading it, but one of them hit 200,000 views, which is pretty crazy because he is not allowed anywhere on that stuff. For whatever reason, Joe Rogan is the only person that can host Alex Jones and it stay around.
Well, that's because he's Rogan,
Yeah, but I mean, like at this point, what did they have to lose? He's moving anyway to Spotify.
Oh, that's right. He did just sign that.
So
whatever.
So I said all that to say,
but you get my point. It's like this is one of those things you don't even have to look that deep into.
Yeah, you don't have to.
When you take like a left media outlet and you take a right media outlet and you look at their numbers, the math doesn't add up. Why right-wing stuff doesn't show up under trending, doesn't get recommended. Sure, it'll get recommended if you're subscribed. I'm subscribed to Louder with Crowder.
Yeah.
Have been for a while, and so his stuff shows up in my subscription feed because that's how YouTube works. But he won't ever I'll never see his stuff trending. Yeah, that's just it doesn't make sense to me. You don't if you're going to be a public platform, you need to be a public platform. You need to allow whatever's trending to be what's trending. You need to allow the people's, the views to determine what's popular, not what your political stance is. That doesn't make any sense. It's not fair, even if you don't agree with it. There's lots of things on YouTube that I don't like. you know. But if that's what's popular, then that's what's popular, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's interesting that they deny this stuff as hard as they do. I mean, no one out of this group of tech CEOs has far.
How has someone not just taken them to court over this? I get that they're the big baddies. They got all the money and power. But it's like, how have we not just been like, all right, well, you keep saying this isn't happening, but it's obviously happening. So you have X amount of days to figure it out, or we shut you down.
Yeah.
And that's the end of your business. Like that.
Well, the reason is because
because with the whole deal with them not being able to be sued for what's posted, because it's considered public whatever and they're protected by the government, all that stuff. Just take them to court over that. Hey, you're not following your own rules for this agreement, so therefore it's nullified, and I'm suing you because of what you're allowing to be posted and what your censorship of people. You're breaking your own deal. Yeah,
and I mean, I'm sure that there have been tons of people that have, but if it's within their community guidelines and they want to ding you, it's the issue is that they ding some and they don't ding others whenever it comes to community guidelines. And so Alex Jones can post a video that red flags him on Twitter, as long as the Twitter guidelines meet up somewhat with Instagrams and Facebooks, they can all drop them in the same day, which is exactly what happened to him. And I just don't think it would be very hard to convince me that those guys weren't talking on that day. Alex Jones just coincidentally gets banned from every platform all on the same day.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's bull crap, dude, is what it is.
And if you are one of the people that would say that Alex Jones is crazy and a nut job and stuff, go listen to him 10 years ago. He wasn't. The reason that he's the way that he is because of stuff like this.
It's because no one listens to him, so he just tries to be crazier and crazier to get people to hear him.
Yeah, and then
whenever
stuff like Epstein happens, he was reporting on that.
He's been talking
15 years ago,
dude. He's been talking about all the pedophilia stuff since, dude. I don't even know. I mean, when you what was the first time he went to the
He snuck in Bohemian Grove.
That's what it is. Yeah. And they were doing sacrifices and not like people, but
effigies.
But what were they burning? They burned a big.
It's effigies of things that they burn at this giant statue of Moloch,
which is
an owl,
dude.
Which is
that's a whole thing in and of itself.
It's one of the old gods.
Go look up. Go look into that. Moloch's one of them kitty touchers.
So it's interesting if you ever have the time to listen to Alex Jones break that video down. He'll sit there and tell you, the dude in different parts of the video that's speaking, doing this ritualistic stuff. He's like, oh, that's Walter Cronkite, and it's pretty interesting,
dude. Okay, first of all, anyone who shows up to that, how are we about to say that they should be running anything? Yeah. And not because of religious beliefs per se, but because that's so primitive.
Yeah.
We're just fine with us being worshiping the god of, child sacrifice. Yeah. That's what we're doing. Yeah. We're fine with that. Hey, the god that they believe in wants our kids. Yeah. That's what we're comfortable with. Yeah. That's fine, dude. That's great. And then people are when you say that, they're like, what? That's not real. It's well, is it though?
Yeah. Is it though? Yeah. And this is, that's the reason why we do this. People get so caught up on this satanic pedophile thing is because the people who run the world meet in Northern California, and do that stuff.
Here's the thing.
And so the people that run the world are, at least believe that some of their success is generated by this ritualistic thing that they would show up. Why would you not believe that the other side of this thing exists, which is, elite people that are bored, purchasing kids or kidnapping kids and moving them around the world so that they can
sleep with them.
Yeah. I mean, it's
but not in they had the kid had a bad dream and they need to, sleep in their parents' bed in like a really inappropriate, kitty touching type sense.
So let's keep on moving, dude.
I don't know. I only know this stuff, and I've known about this stuff for a while before we did the podcast, and I'm not like as knowledgeable on all of this as you are. I don't research it as much, but I just probably freshman year of high school was doing some research for school and came across some like videos breaking down like these old gods. Yeah. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, I imagine if that stuff was around today. Yeah. And then the next thing in the queue was politicians today going to these, what is it, spirit cooking or whatever?
Spirit cooking, all that stuff.
Yeah,
dude.
like,
oh, I forgot to add this in the thing. We got some stuff to talk about in a minute. I forgot about this. Okay, let's keep moving. What's the next tab?
The next tab?
Yeah, what's the next tab? The next tab is this guy.
Yeah, it's the alphabet guy.
Yeah.
Dude,
there's nothing really. I just brought this guy up because
if I was this guy and I ever heard a kid singing their ABCs, I'd sue that kid. Yeah. I'd sue him right there.
It's probably in the public domain though, but they'll still do it and they'll still win. Yeah. So that's kind of what's happening today. They do this stuff. They're investigating. Investigating these big tech. Yeah, I do. They're investigating these big tech CEOs, and it just seems like they're doing it with no real end goal. Like they just want to find out what's happening. Maybe the investigation would get pushed forward if
they're not really making progress either, though, because they're allowing these tech guys to literally just deny everything. Yeah. I mean, that's my thing. I understand that, inside of this realm of officials and having to, these investigations, there are certain guidelines you have to follow, and it's not just like if I walked into a room and tried to figure out what you were doing. There's a process, but also you shouldn't, like, if the freaking information that you have, if the facts are saying they're definitely doing this wrong, and then the guy says, I don't know what you're talking about, that's not good enough. That's like, in my opinion, that's when you get like real deep in the investigation. It's like, okay, well, you're not going to cooperate, so stand aside while we dive even deeper into your company and find out what you're doing. Yeah. There shouldn't be, like, there's obviously a certain amount of privacy that people should have, inside of their personal business, I guess. Yeah. But like at the point that you are a company this big, if you are refusing to work with people and you have these claims against you, there's no like, well, I disagree with that. It doesn't matter if you disagree. We're not asking you to agree with it. We're asking you
confirm or deny.
We're asking you to confirm or deny this information because what we have says that this is happening, and you're saying I don't agree with it.
With no evidence that it's not happening.
Yeah, do something. Say something valid. Don't just be like, well, I think you have it a little bit wrong. Like, that's the most.
We didn't rip off 50 companies. Now, how many it was, I'm not really sure, but
you can't do that, dude. It's 50 or it's not 50. Yeah. But it's not this like.
Yeah. But you say what it is. You say it's 27. You say it's You say that.
Makes me so mad, dude.
Oh, dude, Post Malone on Rogan.
Post Malone is on Rogan right now?
He just posted the...
He just Post Maloned it?
Yeah, Post Maloned it, dude. That'll be cool.
Postpone my student loans, dude.
I hate to move on from this, but
that's fine.
There's some other stuff.
Sounds like you got something.
Yeah, there's some other stuff that I wanted to bring up.
Where do you want me to go from
again,
there?
Keep an eye out for this thing. I will say that the progress that Congress has made is they're asking harder hitting questions.
Yeah. And they need to. But they need to demand answers is what they need.
Well, what I hope that comes from it is that the threat of another one of these hearings potentially moves these guys in a direction that doesn't steal people's intellectual property and doesn't shut down small business owners and doesn't.
This really isn't like a court situation where you're on trial. This is hey, we need to know what's happening. But also, so I still believe that people should be innocent until proven guilty in any situation, not just in a legal sense, but even if you're just interacting with them.
Yeah.
You should give them the benefit of the doubt. But they don't get to just not answer the question and still be, that's suspicious, dude. When you ask a kid did you take the cookie out of the cookie jar? And then they're like, I don't know. Yeah. Then
here's my thing, dude.
They probably did it.
Unmute the Google Council on the Zoom call.
Yeah.
Let the Bezos lawyers answer for some of this stuff. Do some of that, dude. These are the people. Their teams are on this call.
They're already feeding them the information. Just let them do that.
And you can't, look, Mark Zuckerberg is a bajillionaire that I would venture to say he doesn't know every single thing that's happening with his company. For sure.
There's no way.
The other people that are on the call that are muted do know.
That's their job.
So let them,
Yeah.
It's the same thing with whenever Rogan had on Jack Dorsey, the Twitter guy, and people didn't like the questions that he asked, so he had on the Twitter guy, a guy that Twitter had blocked, and the Twitter guy's lawyer.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing. It's like I'm not trying to get these companies shut down. It's like I don't care, dude. Facebook can be Facebook. I mean, people use Facebook. You know that I don't like social media, and I'm only on it because I have the one for the podcast, and then I have one for my stream out of necessity for being able to share stuff to promote my thing. If it were up to me, dude, if I was not in a creative industry, I would not have any social media. You wouldn't find me on anything. I hate it so much. You'd find me on Reddit, but that's even not really the same thing. And so
hanging out with Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, Maxwell Hill or whatever it is.
Yeah, by the way, still has not posted.
Yeah, that's about right. But so my thing is I'm not looking to get these big companies shut down. I'm looking to have them be accountable for what their actions are. You don't get to just walk around and put everyone out of business and then be like, oh, I don't know, I don't really.
Yeah, and then move all your factories out of state and so
stupid.
Make shell corps to run your tax money through so that you don't have to pay it.
I get it, dude. I get it. You want to do the thing that gets you money, but also so does everyone else. Yeah. So do all the other working people in this country. We all want an opportunity to make something of ourselves, and by having these big companies that just bully everyone out of business, you can't do that. There's no, for some developer who wants to make, the next Twitter, he can't do that. I mean, imagine if a new social media app came out today, how many people would really get on it? I mean, it would take a miracle. It would have to be like, oh my gosh, this is the new thing. And even with that, TikTok came out and everyone was like, oh my gosh, it's Vine too. And now it's like, China's spying on us. No one would have it. Things don't last anymore.
They came out with a thing called Parler. Do you know about it?
No.
Yeah. So it's it's supposed to be like a conservative style Twitter. And I mean, I think the idea for it is great.
It's fine. I just don't want a style. I just want it to be a genuinely neutral.
But it is. It's just supposed to be a
you won't get censored type thing.
Yes, but it's driving mostly conservatives.
But how sad is that? I mean, is that not evidence enough that when a new thing comes out that is we're not going to censor anyone, that if all of one party moves over to it, is that not just evidence enough that they're being neglected and ignored?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Don't tell me that, you want to believe in diversity of thought and then be like, oh, those freaking, those other people who don't say the same things I say. It doesn't, and that's part of why I hate social media, is because everyone feels like everyone thinks they're right.
Yeah.
And someone's gonna be right, obviously, but it's I don't assume that I know everything. I know what I know, and I have a reason for what I believe and the way that I perceive the world and stuff. But I'm also willing to talk about it. Yeah. I don't think I am some all-knowing,
Yeah, I agree. I was having a conversation with somebody today that, willingness to communicate and have discussions is going to be the thing that puts our country back in the spot that it needs to be right now.
We don't have. This is my thing. We can never agree on any political topic, and we can still respect each other as human beings. Yeah. The people say stuff like, I think that people should be able to do whatever they want as long as they don't hurt someone else. Like, there's a certain part to, like, there's a certain level at which that's true. Like, I think that people should be able to have some freedom. And as long as it's not putting someone else down, that's a good thing, But, sometimes you got to take the L, dude. There's a compromise. Not everyone can get their way. That's the bottom line. We're not all going to be happy with the current state of our nation. But the best thing we can do is to talk and try to find the balance of how do we make this work for for everyone? How do we at least make this function instead of, that's part of my thing, talking about. I just feel like we get caught up on these political topics about gun control and abortion and all these different things when really there are like better things that we could be talking about, instead of being like, we need to defund the police so that we can fund our schools. Hey, how about we just do a better job at funding both of them? Yeah. Hey, how about we just have better training for our police officers? Hey, how about we get, better funding for our schools? Where's the money going? That type of stuff. Instead of it being like always needing more. We need to change it. We need to shut it down. We need to redo it. Why can't we just be like, well, we're already doing it. So how do we make it the most effective it can be with the resources we have right now? Yeah. So. Yeah,
I agree. But that's not what we're doing. Yeah. It's just not. So
we're not doing a good job at much of anything right now.
So again.
But we can move on.
You can always go somewhere else, and that's a good segue into what I want to talk about next, which is not going to be our next tab. We're going to skip the next tab.
You want to skip
straight to this? You can go to the next one.
We talking about Maxwell, or are we talking about...
Hit enter on that again. Not secure.
You want to get hacked, or...
Just hit enter on it.
You trying to get...
Pull up the next tab.
Fact.
Okay. All right. So...
no.
You can leave it on this tag. This is the thing that I wanted to talk about earlier. Is not this, but you can still stay on this tab. Open up a new tab. Okay. Did you see that... Tom Hanks and his wife have
a child
gotten citizenship in Greece.
No.
A country that U.S. extradition is not applicable in.
I don't know what that means.
It means that if you do a crime in the U.S., the FBI cannot come and get you somewhere else.
That's convenient.
So type that in real quick. Tom Hanks, Greek citizenship. So this is happening. A lot of celebrities are doing this right now. First off, you hear a lot of them that are wanting to move out of LA to another state, and other celebrities that are trying to get citizenship in other places.
Do you want the Fox one, or do you want not Fox? Or there's BBC.
If I'm being honest, none of this is going to give me what I want. I just wanted to bring this up in light of the Pizzagate theory that has been.
I wish we had a better name for it.
I don't. Why?
Because it just sounds so goofy. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah. It does sound goofy, but that's why I like it.
Okay, I guess let me take that back. It sounds goofy because they chose pizza to be the... Yeah. They picked pizza to be the pedophile thing.
Well,
dude, okay. Don't ruin my favorite food, please.
Yeah, and never text me, ask me if I want pizza either. Don't ever.
From now on,
don't email me. Don't text me if I want pizza, hot dogs, pasta sauce.
Yeah.
What else? Swirly triangles, anything like that. Don't text.
From now on, anytime someone messaged me and is like, yo, you want pizza? I'm going to be like, yeah, but not like the child kind, Let me get that adult-sized pizza, not a kid.
Yeah. So I just find it interesting. You have Ghislaine Maxwell.
I'm not trying to order off the kids menu, bro.
Yeah, you have the Ghislaine Maxwell court documents that are going to be released, and in the midst of this, you have a number of celebrities that are getting citizenship other places and moving. And so this is not the first time that we've seen this happen. Roman Polanski, if you know who that is, he is Sharon Tate, who is the lady who had the baby cut from her stomach in the Charles Manson murders. Yeah. This was her boyfriend or husband or something like that. He was accused years and years ago of raping a 14-year-old girl in a hot tub. He just fled to Paris and kept making movies, and nothing happened. I want to say he was picked up once going somewhere else, traveling to another country, but was actually let go. So,
dude,
these things have been happening for a long time. It's been happening forever. The base of Hollywood was founded on sexual blackmail, and it is what it is.
So much, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, there are few things I genuinely just loathe in this world. And people who get money and think that they can just have sex with kids, I despise it.
Who think that they can get away with anything, and here's the reason, is that it's because they can. It's kind of what we were talking about earlier with nobody
actively doing it.
Well, it's what we were talking about earlier with people, not suing Twitter. Like, can you sue Twitter? Probably so. Here's the issue. Twitter can keep firing and hiring new attorneys.
Whoever.
They can drag the case out to where it costs you more money than you can afford, and then you have to drop the lawsuit.
Exactly.
If the lawsuit messed up. Yeah, if the lawsuit lasts 6 years, it's going to cost you $250,000 in attorney and court fees. That's not worth your time, money. I'll just drop it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they settle on some of that stuff, but it's the same type of deal. Same thing with the Epstein stuff, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
it's like if the government really is, I don't know what that was. If the government really is supposed to be the people, the voice of representing the people, then at the point where I can't defend myself against that or can't pursue that in court, that justice. That's where these,
it's deep state.
This type of stuff needs to step in and be like, all right, well, you're obviously screwing everyone over. Yeah. So step aside and we're going to find out what's going on. And, you're potentially about to get shut down here.
Yeah. A lot of them deserve it and none of them get it, man. They rarely get it.
And I don't want to go into any of this, but part of it makes me want to. Because it's like no one else is doing it. Yeah. And everyone sits here and they're like, well, I'm just some guy. Like, I can't. Yeah. Well, so are they. They just happen to be a guy who's gotten away with a few things, has some money, has multiple successful businesses, and is at the point now where no one can touch them. Yeah. And someone's going to have to do something about it.
Yeah. Eventually they will. Yeah. Eventually they're going to have to.
Eventually they're going to do something about it, or they're just going to keep running the show. Yeah.
Because what the next thing that happens is, somebody like Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg or Sandhar Palani or whatever the Google's name is. What happens whenever they run for president and win?
No, dude, no way.
Yeah,
dude, you should be disqualified if if you're running a thing like that.
But you're not.
That's the same thing I was talking about. Where like the ideal situation is political office is a burden. It's something you're selected for, not something you run for. It's not something to be gained. It should never be a viable career option because it should cost you something as service to the people of this nation. Yeah.
Have you seen
someone puts me in office, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to try my best. I'm going to make every decision I can to benefit the people the best that I can. And I'm going to surround myself by people who do know what they're doing, professionals who know how things work. That's like, I'd rather have an underqualified person who has a better moral code than someone who understands the system, because then they just know how to play it.
Yeah. Have you seen Gavin Newsom? Have you seen the stuff with Gavin Newsom and Garcetti and all the coronavirus stuff. Gavin Newsom owns like these vineyards, which was one of like the last businesses to stay open in California whenever
Vineyards?
the lockdown happened. Yeah, so like wine.
Well, yeah, because they just grow
Situations.
grapes. And then
Yeah,
they
but
smush
everything
them,
else-
And then they put them in
everything
barrels
else
and
was
let
shut
them sit
down.
in their garage,
Yeah.
you know?
And then Garcetti, the mayor, was given this like $3.2 million house by like some corporation or something like that. And it's like, we're like, that's bribery, that's lobbying, that's all this stuff. People don't understand the types of things that happen while these people are in office that influence the decisions that they make on our behalf. I mean, a $3.2 million house for what? What do you want me to do? You want me to say that if you rat on people not wearing masks in the county of LA that they'll get arrested? Yeah, I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all it takes, dude.
So dumb, dude.
So let's go to the Ghislaine Maxwell tab, the first one. This should not be a surprise to anybody. Scroll down. Ghislaine Maxwell once hired somebody to write a birthday song for pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, insisting that it referred to 24-hour erections and schoolgirl crushes, according to a report.
Oh my gosh.
Journalist Christopher Mason told the Times in London that the media heiress Maxwell, 58.
Here's the thing, dude. Could you imagine doing anything for 24 hours?
Yeah.
Imagine just sitting up
Yeah.
for 24 hours. Yeah. I'm not trying to do, I'm not trying to do that for 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's way too many hours, dude.
And look, I'm not trying to be like weird or gross or anything. Like, that's an uncomfortable thing to have for, 20 minutes.
I mean, if
We're
we're being
talking-
realistic, if it just kind of ever happens,
Yeah.
it's just an uncomfortable thing to have happen.
So, if you're a lady, you won't know what we're talking about, but that's what we're talking about. Let's see if we can find the lyrics of the song. Is that on here?
Oh my gosh.
Did they have this posted? I'm not joking, dude. Why would we not read the lyrics of the song?
No, I mean, you're right.
Okay. It's not on
We
there.
can just search it, though.
Lyrics to Epstein birthday song.
I was just going to
Look
do
up that,
birthday Epstein. Birthday song. Here's the thing, dude. If you're going to say that, I want maybe this is the song. Because this is the video that was on it.
Click it. Let's see if it's on there. If
You
you're-
know?
Yeah. And if you're hearing this,
We apologize. Do you have the TV remote?
just mute it for now, and then let's find out what it is first. It might just be somebody
not
being
letting me?
like, Jeffrey Epstein once had a birthday song written. Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, they may sing it.
No, it's just exactly what we just read.
Well, this is just...
And then the other thing,
I'm going to keep looking while you're talking.
yeah, the other thing that I wanted to bring up with her, this should not be a surprise to anybody, but the court docs so far that we're aware of have uncovered the little hobby that Ghislaine Maxwell had, which she says is only a hobby.
Which probably
is-
wasn't collecting Pokemon cards.
Yeah, it was collecting a different type of card.
Tarot cards.
Pictures of topless young girls.
Dang, bro, that's creepy. Dude, imagine if
What's next? Trafficking children to islands. in the
Imagine if
Virgin
you came over and I was just like, dude, check out
Yeah.
my card collection.
Yeah.
Immediately, you're like, oh, well, this guy needs to go to jail.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Even if they're 19,
Yeah.
that's still dude, if you have graduated high school, if you're in high school and you come over to someone and you go over to their house and they got some cards like that, you're like, freaking, this kid. But then if they're any older than that, you're like, oh, okay, man. All right. Nah, I don't know.
Yeah. So
Sus, dude.
yeah, we're more stuff is being uncovered about this thing, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with it, dude. Andrew Schultz made a video suggesting that the political battle is actually over Ghislaine Maxwell, which I don't completely dismiss, but it will be interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks and months, especially given the response that our beautiful president had recently to questions about their operation, about the Epstein
Doesn't
operation.
look like.
Yeah, I figured that they wouldn't have it on there. Also, supposedly the jail that she went to made inmates polish the floors prior to her arrival, which is pretty
What's that mean?
funny. Like, basically, they were like,
Oh, we gotta
Ghislaine Maxwell's coming. We got to clean this place up. It's like, dude. Yeah.
Weird. Hey guys, the kitty toucher's on the way.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get it looking nice for our pedophile friends.
Yeah.
They're staying the night.
It's crazy, dude.
Make
is
sure
crazy.
you sleep with one eye open.
Yeah.
Or you might get, groped.
Yeah.
Who knows, dude?
Well, dude.
I'm not into any of it.
I'm not either.
I hate it.
Yeah.
The fact that it exists makes me sick.
Yeah. We will we'll continue to cover this stuff as we keep going. I guess that's a good transition into just what's been going
is she
on.
wearing a Civil War jacket right here?
I don't
pretty
know.
sure
I mean,
that's
that
exactly
just
what
looks
that
like
is.
a pretty French.
No, look at the
Yeah. Well,
look at the Randall.
He was known for showing up to
Parties underdressed.
No, he was known for showing up to parties dressed as like
A random stuff.
decorated veteran and stuff like that, which is just
But he never served.
no. Of course he didn't serve, dude. Look at him. Look at him right now. Look at it. Look at the shadow on the wall, dude. You're telling me that's from somebody that served?
That shadow is definitely. Who's that girl in the background?
I don't know, dude. Maybe they should be asking that.
Yo, hey, you're telling me right now that I can put a photo out of my camera roll into Google Photos and it'll tell me whose face that is, and we haven't just been like, all right, guys, so we've scanned all of social media. Turns out that all the people at these parties are. And then we just go talk to them. That's what we should do, really. If we wanted to do a series where we go talk to the people who were close to them, we could just do some scans across, get some stuff to scan social media and do some face matching stuff. I mean, we may have to buy some software to do it, but that'd be pretty.
Well, dude, what I want to do is start reaching out and trying to get some guests on here. I know we don't have a lot of
We've got
a lot of
plenty
views,
space.
a lot of stuff like that. But I think it would be interesting to maybe at some point put our funds together and see if we can get somebody on here that can talk about some of this stuff. I have somebody in mind particularly that I think
you may have mentioned this once.
Would do it. And our last episode may or may not have partly been about him. So we're gonna start doing some of that stuff. How was your last week?
I guess we did have a week, didn't we?
Yeah.
I am so tired this week. It's unreal how tired I am.
Yeah.
I feel like I may have, got hit by a car or something and then woke up, a few weeks, however many days it takes to wake up from that later. And now I'm here. Just been guarding lives.
Yeah, that's good, dude. I've had some interesting stuff happen that I'm not going to talk about on here.
Sure.
You know about it.
Some of it.
And I've got potentially a meeting for an interesting opportunity tomorrow that I'm pretty excited about. It's it's something that I'll probably never actually name or mention whether or not on here, whether or not the opportunity presents itself or not. But it's an opportunity for me to do something with this stuff on a practical level and make a difference in another way besides just attempting to inform people about some of this stuff that's going on. So that's really exciting for me. It is, in my opinion, it is the correct side of the road that I've been interested in being on for the last couple years. So that'll be cool. Other than that, not much, dude. I've just been hanging out, playing some video games, working a lot. I've been tired a good bit myself, but we'll get past it, dude. You know, we're young. And we're
exceptionally young.
Yeah. We're young, dude. He's younger than I am, but
not by much.
Yeah. In the grand scheme of things.
In the grand scheme of things.
So, yeah, man. Anything else you want to hit before we get off here?
No, not really. You know, maybe just be aware of, be aware of what's happening. I know it's easy. I don't like getting on and trying to go through all the news stuff because so much of it is just bull crap. Yeah. But really, ask why stuff's happening. Hear something. Hear something. Be like, oh, well, why is that? Yeah. Why are we having this investigation or this hearing or whatever? Yeah. Why is this stuff happening right now? What's the need for this? Look into it. I mean, it doesn't I'm not asking you to be like, oh, I know everything, but just look it up, read a couple of, read a paragraph maybe.
Yeah. Or just keep listening to this podcast.
Or listen to this, dude.
Because we'll do it too.
We might be a day or two behind on things, but that's because it's not a live streamed podcast.
Yeah. And, I've been thinking about just kind of doing some, maybe doing like a little studio at my house and doing maybe some 15-minute videos as stuff just kind of pops up.
For the Twitters or for what?
Just kind of in general. I'd probably post it on the channel too. So,
okay.
If we're not recording until Tuesday and something happens on a Saturday, I could just jump on there and talk for it for 15 minutes. And, so I'll probably be starting to do something a little bit like that soon. But yeah, I guess that's it, dude. So.
Oh, shoot. I guess I am meeting with someone tomorrow about college.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
But you're going though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I can start August 6th, I think, but I am hoping to wait until October so that I can finish the lifeguarding season so that I can keep working out there and also get to the other side of this move if we end up moving. Yeah. So,
well, it's exciting stuff. So, let's get out of here, dude. I can be followed on social media. You can follow me on Twitter if you want at TBAT Quinn.
I give it the time it needs. You can follow me on Twitter at TBATSKINERICK. That's Skinny Rick.
Spelled wrong.
Spelled actually right, if you think about
Skin E.
Yeah. You can follow me there.
Cool, man. Well, thank you again for listening and watching.
Yep.
Episode number 44 of TBAT Podcast. And we will talk to
45.
you next week.
I'm going to do it. I'm doing it.